Well, welcome back again to RevUP Awaken, and I am your host, Mimi. Medicine wheel is sometimes known as the sacred hoop, and it has been used by generations of various Native American tribes for health and healing. It embodies the four directions as well as Father Sky, Mother Earth, and Spirit Tree, all of which symbolize dimensions of health in the cycles of life. So how can we use this in our own lives to help enrich and empower ourselves? Here to talk about this very topic is Rev.Maria DeAndrea, my ongoing guest co-host. Maria is an internationally known psychic from Budapest, Hungary, and a European shaman, public speaker, and published author. You can always find Maria at mariadeandrea.com or call her at 631-559-1248. Hello, Maria. Welcome back.
Hi. Always so much fun to do the show with you, and hopefully to help other people understand a lot more things that they can do to improve their lives.
Yes, absolutely. And this is a very interesting topic. I've, gotten a little interested in shamanic practices and, I've been looking into it very much. And I find the connection, the earth connection with us and how we help to heal through it is quite interesting. And I thought this would be a very good opportunity to look into the medicine wheel and its uses and how it can possibly help us, in our further inner exploration. And, being that you're a European shaman yourself, I'm sure this subject must be very near and dear to you as well. And I recall, on like one of our first shows we did a few weeks ago, you had mentioned how different European shamanism is to what we know as the Western version.
Well, yes. Now, it does have some similarities to the Native American shaman. However, the European shaman does everything, and people don't realize that. So they do everything. They're supposed to be serving everyone in the community. It used to be everyone in the tribe, now it's the community. So we have to utilize our psychic abilities to answer questions for the tribe. We are spiritual leaders, counselors, occultists, and we understand the laws of nature so that we can work with them to help other people. And of course, we're all healers, and we know both physical and psychic weapons for the safety of the tribe. People don't really realize that weapons were very important. Think tribal times, not as much now, but think tribal times. So on the psychic level, we do protect people. And like I said, we protect the tribe. However, in those times, if you think about the chiefs, when they went to war, either the shaman would stay back in with the tribe and then focus on psychically protecting the chief. Or most of the time, what they would do in Europe is they would be riding next to the chief. So they would be protecting them psychically and with weapons. So you absolutely had to know weapons if you're considered a shaman. If you didn't know everything, you're not a shaman, which means we also escort souls in death transition. Okay. And we often merge ourselves and our energy with animals to be able to communicate with them. Because when you're thinking tribal, you need to be able to connect to animals and say, okay, listen, the fire was where, so we don't go in that direction. Or where's the quicksand? So as an example, we also communicate with spirit animals. So in Hungary, as an example, there's a bird called thru, and you're supposed to be able to call on it when your nation needs help. It's not an individual thing, it's tribal. So when the tribe is in trouble or your nation is in trouble, you call on that spirit animal, that spirit bird to help you. So shamans, you're going to notice often standing on mountains with outstretched arms and a band on their head when you think of some pictures or movies, or they're holding a particular type of staff. And the reason we stand on higher ground, and it's always been like that when it's possible, is to get away from a lot of the electromagnetic interference so that we can connect more easily and telepathically with other beings, other realms. And when you're really thinking about it, in ancient times, you still needed to get to higher ground because mentally there's so much energy being put out with people, what they want, their daily lives, what they're doing. It's still, energy being put out. Now, on top of that, we have all the electromagnetic interference. So if you were living in a city nowadays and you were a shaman, you would just try to get to the highest floor in the building or the roof, or preferably get in your car and go somewhere that has higher ground,
Right.
you know. So in our modern world, with all this technology flooding us, it's flooding us with too many grounding mechanisms that does not really allow us to use our psychic abilities more freely.
Yes, I know. I know that seems to be one of the big problems we have in our culture today.
Mm-hmm.
What form does a medicine wheel take, and how would it help someone in their life?
So in European shamanism, as well as in other forms, because they all connect on some level, okay, the wheel is really a symbol of the universe, of creation itself and balance. So it's used as a tool for us for guidance, wisdom, and it connects you to nature and animals and makes you actually part of it. So we're connected to Mother Earth, Father Sky, as you were saying. We're connected on so many different levels, so we can tune in to heighten our abilities. And that could be if you're an artist, if you work on a computer, if you're intuitive. So it can help you in guidance of what direction to go in when you're making choices to gain inner wisdom and awareness. A part of the wheel actually represents your ancestors. So you can call on your ancestors to come in to help you. I always laugh because I don't know what my ancestors are doing, but they don't always show up.
They're all busy.
I'm always thinking, yeah, exactly. They're busy doing what? So it helps you balance yourself karmically, which is always positive because, karmically is whatever you put out, you get back. And it really makes use of the elements and the direction. So we tune into elemental spirits. We tune into east, west, north, south. Part of the wheel is um, focused in those directions. So you will actually move the wheel or when you're drawing it to put it in that direction. And the way you use it as an example, they're all connected in more than one level, but just on a really quick level, east as an example um, represents air. So it represents intellect, mental ability, spirituality. So if you're working in the east section of the wheel, you're really looking at making decisions, of learning, teaching, anything that deals with the mental level. And by the way, the color is yellow. So if you're wearing a lot of yellow, it actually picks up your analytical ability. So blue represents the west, and that represents water. So anytime you're doing anything with emotion, that's really what you're going to be connected to is the West. So emotions are happy emotions, passion, anger. Emotions are emotions. People always think that it's only positive, and none of us are positive 100% of the time. We try,
Oh, yeah.
and I right? And I find what you and I do is that if we have a negative thought, because I don't know, we're human, we immediately use the word cancel, so we don't put out negative energy by accident, but we still think it. So the north, as an example, depending on what you're doing, could be connected to black or green, and that is connected to earth energy. And earth energy is anything with money, business, anything with, if you're living on a farm, right? Anything dealing with the earth, with that type of growth. And people never understand for some reason why money is connected to the earth. But if you really think about it, the way we started using finance is because we had gold, silver.
Right.
So
Yes.
we were using that as the barter system, and then it turned into
Hmm.
paper. But that's connected to the earth. And then south connects to the color red, and that's fire. So fire, that's energy, passion. It's physical energy. It's for manifesting. Fire is great for kicking in something really quickly to create what you want. And then there's ether, which people forget about, which is spirit, which is us. So we're in the center of the circle. So people don't realize it, but that's why we have the direction. And basically, it's all a triggering mechanism that actually connects us to creation. So doing a quest allows you to gain your balance, have vision, and the message can come actually in your dreams as well. So because it's a trigger, you might get an answer then, or a feeling, or an urge, or a thought. Or it can actually come where 2 days later you go, oh, I have a great idea, and you're not going to connect it to that's what triggered you or in your dreams. And then you really need to stay focused and positive to use your psychic vision.
Right, right.
So,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
find when it's okay. I find though when we're using psychic vision, people don't understand what happens, which is a fallout level. Is you're actually defocusing your physical vision, so you can switch to a different realm because that's a different vibration, and then it helps you in your life. Your health, finance, gives you spiritual power to heighten your energy as you walk it. So it's really non-limited.
So, how would a layperson just integrate this practice into their lives?
Well, it's a little bit complicated when
Okay.
we actually form a wheel. But basically, by drawing the wheel and walking it, or at least once drawn on paper as an example, right? You can visualize it and mentally seeing yourself walking it. Or a lot of times, what people do is they will draw on a piece of paper or cloth, and then they can fold it up and travel with it because you can't always go outside, make a wheel, and think nobody's going to touch it or go, "What is that?" We're in Brooklyn. You drew it on the cement with chalk. What? Which, by the way, you can. You know. So the more often you walk it, the more it helps you to gain your inner balance and to connect to the universe. So this will give you insight into your daily life, which people don't think about, okay, and helps you in self-healing by speeding up your healing process, by the way. And among other things, it helps connect you to different realms, like nature spirits, elementals, other world beings, ancestors when they're not too busy,
Don't have other appointments to make.
right? But on a wheel, when you're asking for ancestors to come, you really do have more control and focusing power because the wheel itself will add energy for focusing. So if you're calling on an ancestor, they're going to go, "Oh, what do you want now? Here I am."
Well, it's not like they have to physically be there. They could just send themselves
Right.
spiritually, split themselves up. They'll be fine. No
Yeah,
problem. They don't
exactly.
have to go through security or anything like that. So basically, it's a focusing mechanism. So you're
Exactly.
sending out intentions of what you want to create in your life. Basically, another means of another method in which you can recreate certain circumstances in your life. In case you don't know where to go, how to get there, this helps you in some way.
Yeah, see, that's why it's a wheel.
Yeah,
I was thinking travel.
yeah, exactly. So people can also just envision the wheel as well.
Oh, definitely. Because they can envision how the physical drawing is best. But you can't do that everywhere. If you're actually traveling for business and you have nothing else to do on the airplane, you can walk your wheel. Yeah. People just don't think of it like that. And sometimes when you're drawing a wheel, even though we have specific techniques, you can actually have a vision as an example in meditation, or it'll just come to you what the wheel should look like for you, which might be totally different from everybody else.
So let me ask you, when let's say a Native American is creating this for their tribe, I mean, what exactly are they putting together for their medicine wheel?
So, well, I know more European, although there
Oh,
are a lot of similarities,
okay.
but they do have, no, they do have a lot of similarities. There's an example. They all have east, west, north, and south. They all have cardinal points.
Hmm.
And then after that, it varies a little bit with colors and with animals and with different totems, different familiars. So then it changes. Um, but when you're making the wheel, first of all, with the medicine wheel, what you want to remember is it's considered sacred space. So when you're looking at sacred space, it's basically balancing creation. Okay, it's a tool to gain your wisdom and guidance to growth, as we were saying. But they are external clues to bring you the insight. So the wheel is actually teaching you respect for nature, people. Well, depending on the person. um, creatures. And a lot of times when people walk the wheel, they will actually chant or sing or mentally just keep going over something that they need to work on. So when you're making a wheel, you could make it very simple, okay, and then you can always expand on it later. But just to give people an idea to make it a simple wheel, you would first meditate or just take at least 3 slow, deep breaths. And what that does is it relaxes you so you will be in the correct frame of mind to create your wheel.
Hmm.
Okay. And actually, in that space, you might actually get a picture of what the wheel should be specifically. Okay. And then what you're going to do is draw a large circle, because remember, it has to be large enough for you to physically walk it, or again, mentally. And in the center, you're going to draw a small square, and you're going to put that symbol, and that represents your belief system, such as a cross. Okay. Now, the wheel actually represents creation. There's no ending to it.
Right.
The square represents the elements, earth, air, fire, water. So that's why the circle and the square in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you're going to draw another circle inside the first circle, right? And you're going to section it off into 4 parts by drawing a line connecting the 2 circles. And that's where you're going to write east, west, north, south,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then as you walk the outside circle first, and then the inner circle, what you're focusing on is the center, okay? Because basically the center is you. Then as you walk, you allow your thoughts to come. So sometimes you can get thoughts, and people misunderstand this. So sometimes you can get a thoughts about your bills, and you're trying to be esoteric. So what it's doing is it's trying to help you focus on your bills so that it can tell you a better way to deal with it, not to be stressed, not, how to make more money. It's giving you information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Of course, there's much more to the wheel, but I think that's pretty much a good start as a base. As you go on your own, if you have an urge to put something into the wheel, or vision, put it in, because that's specific to you. But there's so much more to it. It would be very complicated to do in this amount of time, which is why we all teach.
Right. And the question I have is, in case a person doesn't understand, how would a person recognize that they're getting intuitive information to help them in these departments?
First of all, I think that's a really, really good point, because sometimes people can't tell the difference between divine power, as an example, giving them direct information where psychically they're tuned in, or they're going to look at, well, I don't know if that's my idea or my thought. And this is the way you can tell the difference. When you're getting direct information, it's instant. When it's you, you're thinking about it. So as an example, and I use this with people that have abilities psychically, where, as an example, I'm clairsentient, among other things. So when I do readings, I just know. There's no way to explain it. The information just comes, I know. Or, I use other aspects depending on what pops up with me. So this is how that works. Say you have somebody walking towards you that you've never met, ever, okay, in real life. So they're walking towards you. Before you say hello, you instantly either like them or you don't like them. No reason. You just instantly like them. The universe is telling you what your connection is going to be. Or they're walking towards you, and mentally you're going, I don't know what they were thinking when they got dressed this morning. Nothing fits. That's not the universe. That's you. But if it's instant and you had no thought about it, you weren't looking at it and thinking, what were they thinking this morning? If there's no thought to it, it's just that's what that is. Same thing with empathy. You go to a party and you get a headache, you didn't have one. If you look around and somebody else has the headache, give them the aspirin. Wasn't you? But that's how you know. Or even in a vision, if you're getting a vision, that's not you. Okay? And then you can decide how or if you want to move on it. Because along the same line, if you get very direct information, this is your best move. People forget we have free will. You can go, nope, don't feel like it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Free will.
So, I just had this quick little question. I mean, what is there a connection between the medicine wheel and the mandala?
Well, actually, the mandala gives you a point of focus. So there is some similarity. It pulls you in. It helps you to expand your inner self. It can also create visions and give you information. So it's really meant for inner growth, some insight, but basically inner growth. The mandala actually means mystical circle. So it helps you express your soul mind and connects you through sound, color, and form. And it puts you in tune with nature and the cosmos. So it helps you connect to deities, an example. Whatever deities are going to help you. It gains basically your inner self-knowledge. Now, as for the medicine wheel, it also does that and more. So as I mentioned in the beginning, you can call on ancestors, you can ask for help, It gives you visions, helps you with healing, offers guidance in daily living, with inner growth, as an example, helps you deal with your path of life. So walking in balance with all the energies connects you to all the planets and dimensions. So does self healing, connects you to nature, connects you with the external and inner world. And I find the difference also is because it's non-limited. It will give you information whether you ask for it or not. And sometimes we were like, really, that's what you think we're going to do? You know, whereas with the mandala, you're really not asking for information as much as you're focusing on a central point, and it has all different colors and forms and things around it. So it can be very artistic, and everything has a meaning on it. But basically, what it does is it pulls your eye in so that you unfocus, and then it's going to help you on that inner level. It's like, those pictures, I forgot what they're called. When you stare at them and like a dinosaur will pop out of the picture at you.
Oh, I see. I think I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can't
well,
think of the name.
you're not talking about the Rorschach tests, are you?
No, but it's
Okay.
like that because you'll see artwork and
Yeah.
it'll have scenery, and then if you stare at the artwork for a period of
Yes.
time, it just kind of pops out at you and becomes more third dimensional in your sight.
Yes.
When you're watching it, and you're going, oh, that's what's behind it.
I
Like,
see.
well, that's what's in the picture. So a mandala is like that. It pulls your vision in to be able to see things. And it might trigger ideas, but it's because it pulls you in. It doesn't do all the other things.
Well, it seems like it sort of gives you like a journey into your inner consciousness.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. And it will give you insight into what you can do in your daily life, but it's coming from a different point.
Interesting.
It's not, as an example, if you have something going on, say you're going to get, I do readings full time. So a lot of people that I deal with are in business. And if they're trying to find out, they're going into a new business and they're trying to find out, should this person be somebody that I work with as a partner, or it wouldn't be good for me? Not that it's not a good or a smart person, but would that connect to me where we can work well together? Okay. You're not really going to get it out as much out of a mandala as you would the wheel. Now, you might get that when you're pulled into it, it might give you that automatically, but it's not because you really asked specific.
Yeah,
So
it's
when you're doing the wheel, it's more specific and visionary.
yeah, because keep getting the feeling like the mandala expands your consciousness, but then again, also the medicine wheel can do that too.
Right, just in different ways.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. Okay.
And basically, the more we can do, the better we can do, the better the world gets. Because when we do better, everybody around us does better because we can help them more.
Yes, that's why I feel that we have to, it all comes down to expanding our consciousness, and that helps us to leave the lower vibrational levels to raise our understanding of that goes past and beyond this personal experience that we're having.
And basically, what I find a lot of what happens with the medicine wheel also is that it connects to Mother Nature so that we can connect to nature as a trigger to be able to do things. So as an example, if you're living on a farm and there's drought as an example, you can walk the wheel to get information on how to handle it, or, where to dig for a well. Although, mums and dowsing will help you with that, but it's going to help you with the rest of it. Or all of a sudden you might have an urge because you're walking the wheel and you're connected to all the elements of nature. You might have an urge to call in an elemental spirit as an example. Yeah. Like if it's dark and it's cold and it's tribal and you're trying to cook food and you can't figure out how to do that because there's nothing around you that would help you build a fire. Okay. The elemental king for fire is a salamander. So you would call in the king of salamanders to come and help you with fire energy, either to create physically the fire or to tell you how to find something that you can put together for that, or how to just keep something warm. So now the wheel connects you to the elements and the spirits, different realms, like I said, out of body.
Couldn't you just tell the salamander to bring some matches?
See, exactly. That's what I said. I'm always thinking, listen, we're working both realities. You're right. Where are the matches?
Never mind all this.
We have to go find something. Never mind the rubbing the two sticks together.
Yeah, this is not working.
Yeah, I think the reason they developed matches because they were tired of rubbing everything together for hours.
Yeah.
Or for a while going, oh, this stick didn't work, and I got to find a different one.
Three
or the stones, hitting the stones together. It's like, no, where's
the
the match?
flints. Yeah, yeah. 3 days later, they're starving, have no warmth.
Right?
Oh God.
What I find funny on a psychic level, and this has happened with and without the wheel, by the way. You know, if you really need food as an example, and you're lost in the mountains, okay, all of a sudden you'll actually, if you're mentally walking the wheel, or just psychically without the wheel, all of a sudden you'll notice some bush that has berries that you would have never touched normally, but now you feel safe with it because it's like the universe saying, listen, Mother Earth is here for you. We're trying to help you.
Mm.
Don't touch the other one because you won't make it off the mountain, but this was good. We're so serious. You can't be in an esoteric field and do psychic, spiritual, paranormal things and not have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
You just can't, because I think Mother Nature's funny.
I think so. Funny and beautiful at the same time.
Exactly.
So, is there anything more that you'd like to add about medicine wheels that we haven't covered?
But the only thing I really wanted to say was that when you're walking on the wheel, and I suggest this with everything that tunes you in psychically, meditation, with everything, I always do suggest that you use some form of psychic self-defense or prayer or protection spell or formula, whatever your system is. It doesn't have to be mine. You always use something because you're opening yourself to the universal forces. And if you're opening yourself and you're not safe, okay, it could be a real issue because it really is dangerous. What people don't realize, and I think I said it on the last show, that it's like electricity. You see it, you don't put your hand in the socket, you see the socket, you don't see the energy, right? But the point of being safe is this also, especially on the medicine wheel. You're going to have spirits, entities, ancestors. You're going to have different elementals around you. So if you're asking for advice, as an example, if you're not safe, you don't know if you happen to tap into a negative elemental.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's why I laugh sometimes, because sometimes when people pass away and they were mean and terrible, and we do have those people on the planet. So, sometimes when they pass, they didn't change right away. But as long as you're safe, I really feel that the wheel helps you focus and it brings up your spiritual awareness. So you're working on yourself at the same time. And the more positive and the more awareness that you have, and the more positive you are in your outlook on life in general, okay, you attract different elements in the physical world. So you'll attract people that are more positive, that will help you get opportunities in business, your personal life, or whatever, because they like you more and they feel comfortable with you. They just won't know why. But thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank
Yes,
you.
I love working with you. We have so much fun, and hopefully it helps people to do a little bit better in their own lives.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, and we will certainly be hearing from you again very, very soon, because we've got a font of information we could be touching upon.
Wonderful. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you. Before we become caught up in the Western beliefs of healing through drugs, vaccinations, endless trips to the almighty scanning device, ancient cultures understood and relied on the interrelationship between physical and spiritual well-being. It was realized that when one was ill, there was actually an imbalance at the core of the problem. There was a deeper understanding and respect with the sacred cycles of life. And the wheel is a representation of that interconnectedness of the human, animal, and nature, the cycles of life, and the energetic core of our experience. Now is the time to explore our roots to bring this world to a heightened level of consciousness through inner exploration. Better late than never. Don't forget to contact Rev.Maria. You can do so at mariadeandrea.com or call her at 631-559-1248, 631-559-1248, Monday through Friday. And check out miriamasilver.com for other shows and articles on these topics. So until next time, keep your vibrations high and your awareness open.